You know, in the world of pickleball, the gear is just evolving at a crazy speed. And, well, right at the very top of that evolution, we've got the Selkirk LUXX Control Air Invikta. This thing comes with some really serious tech and, let's be honest, an even more serious price tag.
So here it is, the Selkirk LUXX. I mean, this is probably one of the most talked about paddles out there right now, and today we're going to find out, does it actually live up to all that hype? All right, the first thing we absolutely have to talk about is this number right here, $250. That's a premium price in any sport, for sure. And it immediately makes you ask,
is this thing a true masterpiece of control, something that can actually take your game to the next level? Or is it, well, just overpriced? That's really the big question we're going to dig into.
See, Selkirk isn't trying to sell this as just another paddle. The whole idea, the philosophy behind it, is that this is a specialized tool. It's a precision instrument, and it's designed for a very specific kind of player. And, you know, one review I saw just framed it perfectly with this quote. The key takeaway here is that this isn't a paddle for finding your game, it's for refining a game you already have, especially a game that's all about finesse and control. And that brings us to maybe the most important question of all. Honestly, before you even think about the tech or that price tag, you gotta know, was this paddle even made for someone like you? Okay, so let's break this down. On one side, this paddle is really for those advanced players. We're talking 4.0 and up, the ones who live at the kitchen line and control the point. It can also be great for those solid 3.5 players who are consciously trying to develop a softer game. But on the other side, it's pretty clear who should stay away. If you're a beginner, a singles player who relies on power, or anyone who loves hitting hard drives from the baseline, this paddle is probably going to feel really underpowered and just frustrating.
So what's actually in this thing that gives it that signature touch and feel? Let's get into the science, the engineering that really sets the LUXX apart from everything else on the wall.
Okay, the absolute heart of the LUXX is its 20mm Thikset core. Now that's the thickest core in its class, and its main job is to act like a giant sponge for pace. It just soaks up the energy from hard shots, and that is what gives you that incredible control on your dinks and, maybe most importantly, on your resets when you're getting attacked. And that thick core works together with all the other pieces. You've got the Florex carbon fiber face layered right on top, and the whole thing is built with this sleek, edgeless design. Put it all together, and you get this really plush, consistent feel across the entire face. It helps get rid of those clunky mishits you sometimes get off a normal edge guard.
So, how does all that fancy tech actually feel on the court? Well, it's all about touch. All that engineering means you get a bigger, more forgiving sweet spot, your dinks feel way more predictable, your resets suddenly feel easier, and you can step into those crucial third shot drops with a ton of confidence, because you feel like the paddle is really doing a lot of the work for you.
Okay, so we know it's a control paddle, first and foremost. But what about hitting the ball hard? What about offense? Well, this is where things get interesting, because we find both a pretty surprising strength and a very, very intentional weakness.
The big surprise here, this paddle is a spin machine. Seriously, its special spray-on grit texture just grabs the ball and generates a ton of spin, enough to compete with a lot of the best raw carbon fiber paddles out there. That's awesome for your roll volleys and slice shots. The only catch? That grit is going to wear down over time if you play a lot. And here's that trade-off we were talking about. Look, it has enough pop to put away a volley if you're right at the net. But make no mistake, this is not a power paddle. That same thick core that's so great at absorbing pace, well, it also holds it back from creating that explosive power from the baseline. This paddle is all about helping you outthink your opponent, not just out-hit them. Okay, so let's put it all together. We've talked about the price, who it's for, the tech inside, and how it actually plays. So, what's the final verdict on the LUXX Control Air Invikta? Well, the pros are pretty much exactly what you'd hope for in a paddle like this. The control, the touch, the feel, they're all exceptional. Its ability to just swallow up pace and help you reset the point is absolutely top tier. You get tons of spin, a really generous sweet spot, and hey, it's backed by a fantastic limited lifetime warranty, which is a nice bonus. But the cons are just as clear, and you have to be honest about them. That $250 price tag is a huge barrier for most people. It is absolutely 100% not for beginners. That spray-on grit will wear down, and that lack of power from the back of the court, that's a deal breaker for a lot of players. So what's the bottom line? It's actually really clear. This paddle is what I'd call a conditional masterpiece.
For that very specific advanced player whose whole game is built around placement and strategy, this paddle is worth every single penny. For pretty much anyone else, yeah, probably not.
When you think about it, this paddle really represents a whole philosophy of pickleball. It's for the player who sees the game as chess, not checkers. It's for the person whose greatest weapon isn't power, but the ability to put the ball exactly where their opponent can't get it.
And so we're going to end by turning that question right back to you. You've seen the tech, you know exactly who it's for, and you've heard the clear trade-offs. Now you have to look at your own game and honestly ask yourself, is my game ready for a precision instrument like this?